Youree Vogel seemed a departure from a lot of characters I played, and I got to sing, and he's sort of a hanger-on for the old Rat Packers period, and I just knew I would have a lot of fun with this character. Youree Vogel is the father to Lloyd Vogel, played by Matthew Rhys. And he was a very irresponsible father who deserted the family.
Well, that he was the real deal, that he wasn't fake. He loved everyone. Everyone was special to him. And it wasn't a mask that he put on. This movie and the story that Lloyd goes through proves that he is who he is. The real story of them and how the friendship that they built through the story is real and it's tender. And but Lloyd's journey, of course, we go from skeptic to believer. I played Bill Eisler, who was Fred's longtime friend and producer. He was there with him right from the beginning.
I grew up with him. He was like a third parent to me. So in a house with 3 kids, it was like the calm at the end of the day that was just the perfect thing that you needed to just settle into a crazy life at home. And he's wonderful. And I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they watch his show today, and it speaks to them.
It's such an iconic role, and of all the actors in the world, you probably couldn't find a more iconic actor. But what's unique is how he inhabited the role, and you sort of lose Tom Hanks somewhere along the way very quickly, and see Fred Rogers.
I'm a mom. I have a little kid. At the time was 2. So Mr. Rogers has been a big part of our child rearing, and his message has just felt so present and real to me in this moment in time. So when I got the script, it just felt like, well, I have to make this movie. I love it so much. I mean, the truth is, he lived what he preached. He had a mission of kindness and a mission of being present and a mission of listening, and he did it in every day. And I've been talking to a lot of people ask me about the documentary and kind of, this is not a biopic, and I've said, I think that movie is such a beautiful companion piece to our movie, because that movie told you about all of his life and how he came to be, and our movie really shows his mission in action, what it would be like to meet Mr. Rogers and form a friendship with him. And he really was a special person, and he walked the walk, he didn't just talk the talk. All I know is it felt like a great honor and responsibility to have this movie in my hands, and I felt like I wanted to do his memory proud and his wife proud and all of the people who loved him and knew him proud. I think he really is inspiring, and having his words in my ears for the last few years has made my life so much better.
Who I play in the film is a journalist for Esquire magazine, loosely based, sometimes very much based on a Esquire article that appeared back in the 90s, written by Tom Junod, when he followed Fred Rogers for a number of days and was kind of, I don't like to say converted, but kind of came to understand what Fred stood for. As a kind of hard-hitting, skeptical, at times pessimistic journalist, I think Fred showed him that the glass was definitely half full. One of the greatest takeaways for me is that he really treated children in a very mature way, and what he sought to do was give them the tools in order to deal with their own evolution, which I think serves society. If you help them at that stage, then the hope is they'll turn into good humans. It's not just about being nice to one another. I think it's about making an effort to do that and understand other people, and hopefully that leads to a better coexistence.
I think what's special about this film is it's a family movie. It's about fathers and sons and sort of growing and bettering yourself. So it's a movie about hope and love and family. And I got to make it with my sister, wonderful director, Marielle. So I think that really carried through. The family love kind of came through in the picture.
Mari is a visionary director who brings her warmth, her intelligence, her incredible eye, and appreciation for this story that's unmatched.
I used to watch Mr. Rogers, so I knew everything about his TV show. Not much about the man himself, but everything about the TV show. This is somebody whose life we can explore and who made a powerful impact and lived his life in the same way. Do you know what I'm saying? So there was an integrity there that, is we really cherish these days. I wanted to work with Mari. I wanted to work with Tom Hanks and Matthew Rhys and Chris Cooper. It was just phenomenal. Like to be amongst these, to be amongst this cast and this director, that was powerful enough. I think he stood for compassion and understanding. I really do feel like that. Yeah, for the grace to allow people to be and get to know themselves and to change and to learn.
You have to look at his output on television, and it was singularly honest. And I think you'd easily dismiss it because it wasn't an honesty that mattered to you and me. It was an honesty that mattered to extremely young people who did not know how the world worked. He just wanted to make little kids, little human beings, feel safe, even if they didn't have all the answers or couldn't understand all the answers. I think what I learned, was that you can somehow choose, you can choose an authentic life. There's nobody in media, there's nobody in television, there's nobody in the consciousness of anybody who was born after 1956, which is when I was born, that didn't already have an understanding, as well as I think an opinion of Mr. Rogers.
Fred Rogers saw something in me that maybe I didn't see in myself. He saw some goodness. He saw an interest or a desire for something a little bit higher. And he sort of single-mindedly and relentlessly, sort of brought me to that point. And that's what the movie captures. Fred Rogers stood for kindness. Fred Rogers stood for forgiveness. Fred Rogers stood for goodness in the face of anything and everything. The thing that's really interesting about Fred is really how determined he was, how determined a person he was.
The festival has welcomed us so openly, and it's wonderful to be here with our cast and to celebrate. This is our first stop. This is the first time we show the film out to the world, and it's exciting. It's wonderful to be here.